The Royal BC Museum collects specimens, artifacts, and documents from our province's history to safeguard it for the future generations. And that includes a project happening right now, digitizing a section of important records relating to the history of Chinese Canadians in BC. V. Cooper reports.
So in this case, we've got a coroner's record from Barkerville, and this concerns the death of a woman called Wei Toy, and she was working as a prostitute.
This is one of a number of documents concerning the lives of the first Chinese immigrants to British Columbia.
So we get an interesting little slice of life there, the establishment that she was working in, who her customers had been. So it's really fascinating and very, very early.
There's also tickets issued to men buying passage from Hong Kong to Victoria in 1865.
So it shows their name in English and also their Chinese name. Conditions of passage on that ship were so terrible that when the passengers disembarked, they actually brought a case against the captain. 2 months at sea with 30 inches of sleeping room, an ounce of rice per man per day, barely enough to survive on. So they nearly starved to death on that voyage here. We also have a letter over there from Dr. Helmkin.
Helmkin was Victoria's jail surgeon in 1888 and was concerned about the treatment of Chinese prisoners.
And he mentions that one of them he thinks has leprosy. His worry is that, in fact, the jail is going to become infected.
There are also coroner's records of a tragic event in Nanaimo in 1887.
There was a huge underground blast. 150 men died underground. Of those, 53 were Chinese. The Chinese men were never identified by name. So it's another example of how their lives were somehow considered to be of less value.
All these documents are now being digitized.
I think there's a lot of use in this for scholars, for students, for researchers. Once these records are more available to the rest of the world, we're hoping that people in China, perhaps, if they look at these records, they may find, there's our family name, there's that connection established. So we do hope that people will use it that way.
Opening BC's history to the world.
This Week in History, brought to you by the Royal BC Museum, bringing British Columbia's stories together.